Alright, part 2 of lesson 1.5. Let's continue with a few examples here. On the last example we multiplied 52 times 37, two two-digit numbers. Let's try one a little bigger, 279, and we're going to multiply that times 428. Alright, so they may in the problem give you 279 times 428, like that. Can't multiply it that way. You can write it that way, it's simple, it's all on the same line, but you can't do the multiplication that way. You end up having to rewrite it in another place to show your work in this order, so that's just easier to figure out. Notice that every number we multiply are numbers smaller than 10. There's no larger numbers. Sure, we have a 279, but if we do it just one piece at a time, we never multiply a larger number than our multiplication tables. So, therefore, good reason to learn those tables. So we start out with 9 times 8. First two on the right. 9 times 8 is 72. And we carry our 7 because of the 72, and we're going to put it up here. Then we multiply 7 times 8, which is going to be 56. So we put 56, but then we have to add the 7 to it. So 56 plus 7 is 63. And we put our 6 up there. 2 times 8 is 16. Add the 6 is 22. And we put the whole number there because we came to the end of the line there. Alright, so let's erase some of this mess here. So we've multiplied the 2, the 7, and the 9 in the top times 8. Now we're going to multiply the 2, 7, and 9 times the 2, then the 2, 7, and 9 times the 4. That's how multiplication works. You multiply the top number times each one of the place values in the bottom number. So this is 279 times 8, 2232. Now we're going to multiply this times 2. So 9 times 2 is 18. Now notice the 9 times 2, the 2 is here, so that's where our first number is going to go. 18. Don't forget to carry the 1, and it's going to go on the 7. 7 times 2 is 14, add 1 is 15. Again, just one number there, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, add the 1 is 5. And that goes there. Now we have to multiply 279 one more time, but this time times 4. So 9 times 4 is 36. Notice these are the numbers below the 4. So the 6 is going to go here, below the 4. And the 3, let's get rid of these, we're done with those. So we have 3 left, so we're going to put the 3 on the 7. 7 times 4 is 28, 29, 30, 31. Put a 1 there, only one number, and put a 3 there. 2 times 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. We got 11. We're at the end, so we put the entire 11 down. Now we add all of those together, because actually what we've got is 272 times 8 is this, 272 times 2 is this, 279 times 4 is this. Well, now we've got to add those three numbers together so that we get what this would be multiplied. Because remember I said earlier, multiplication is just a simplified way to do addition. And that's what we're doing now. We multiplied, we did the hard part by the multiplying, now we're just going to add these numbers together. So keep them in line. 2, 3 and 8 is 11. Remember, we're going to carry the 1. 3, 5, and 6. So we've got 1, 3, 8, and 6 is 14. Carry the 1. 1, 3, 8, 9. And there's nothing to add these two ones to. So we get 119,412 as the final answer. Now, we could have taken 279 and added it 428 times and got the answer. So you can see why multiplication is so much easier and faster than the addition. So that's why we do that. Alright, next section on here, just a real tiny section called estimation, or estimating, and it's at the bottom of page 44. So if you want to look at that real quick. There are a lot of times where you're given a number. Well, let's just put our 279 up here. And let's say we want to multiply that times 428. Oftentimes it's nice to at least have an idea, generally speaking, of what the answer may be, so that if you get an answer you can say, yeah, that's pretty close, I probably got the right answer. Or, oh my gosh, that is so far off, there's no way that's close. So what we do is we do estimating. If you remember the estimating, you change these, you round them before you multiply. In the last lesson we were rounding before we added, but in this one we're going to add or round before we multiply. So 279, if we're rounding to the nearest hundred, that means we're going to be looking at the 2. Well, we look at the number to the right, it's 5 or greater, so we're going to round this to a 3. So 279 rounds to 300. 428, round that to the nearest hundred. The 2, the number to the right of it, is less than 5, so we leave that alone. So that would change to 4, and remember, no matter what, whether you raised this 4 to a 5 or you left the 4 alone, everything to the right would turn into zeros. Now you can multiply 400 times 300 in your head, because all you have to do when you're multiplying hundreds or thousands or anything with zeros is you multiply the numbers that are not zeros. 3 times 4 is 12. Count the number of zeros, 4, and add that to your answer, and you're done. So 300 times 400 is 12,000. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm missing a 0, aren't I? 120,000. There we go. 4 zeros, 4 zeros. 3 times 4 is 12. Alright, so we know that our answer is going to be somewhere around 120,000. Well, if you remember, when we actually did this, it came out to 119,412. So yes, it did come fairly close. It was a good estimate. If we get this for an answer, and we did this in our head, it's like, yeah, that's pretty close. I probably did everything right. I'm just a little bit off. So my estimation was fairly accurate. Alright, if you look at page 45, we'll do just an application there. This is kind of a longer lesson, but we'll do an application there. Let's look at example 8. Got this gal named Shirley. She makes $12 per hour. Okay, $12 an hour for the first 40 hours. So when she works 40 hours, she makes $12 an hour. If she has $109 deducted, what do you think that deducted means? It means taken away, doesn't it? So she has $109 taken away, so let's just write $109 up here with a minus sign showing that we're going to take that $109 away sometime. The result is her take-home pay. So after she works at $12 an hour for 40 hours, then we're going to take $109 away, and the result is her take-home pay. And what they're asking for is, give us the solution here. How much money will she take home if she works 40 hours? Well, we're going to take 40 hours, and well, let's say that she was making $12 an hour. How much does she make if she works 2 hours? $24. 12 times 2. How much would she make if she worked 3 hours? 12 times 3, which is 36. Well, how much would she make if she worked 40? Same thing, 12 times 40 or 40 times 12. And we're just going to multiply that out. I'm going to go rather quickly here. She's going to make $480. Problem is, she had $109 deducted from her pay. So she's going to take that $480 and take away $109 of it. So then I've got to figure out how much left over she has. So I'm just going to do basic subtraction. 0, you can't take 9 from 0, so you have to borrow. Make that a 10, so 10 from 9 is 1. 7 from 0 is 7, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So this is how much she has for take-home pay. So that's using applications. That's applying it to real-life situations. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this off, and we're going to go into a third part to this lesson just for a few minutes and just clean some things up, and then we'll do some examples in that same lesson. So turn it off and jump to part 3.